Hold on to your hats! It's the 1930s and the flying pussyfoot train is about to drive into the night. So, should you watch Baccano? Baccano takes place in the 1930s and it has 4 or 5 timelines, but I consider the main timeline where the main events happen to be 1931, the story that happens on the train. Yeah, this show jumps around quite a lot, be it the timeline when it plays or the characters whose POV we get. So I'll try to give you a rundown about what happens, roughly, without spoiling too much, because one of the main draws of the show is the mystery and watching how it plays out. So, the main part of Baccano is the series of events that take place on the transcontinental train, the Flying Pussyfoot. Yeah, I know, great name. It should have been a normal trip for this very well-known train, but somehow a whole lot of not so normal events by not so normal people start taking place. For one, we have Miria and Isaac, who intend to do a train robbery, which means to them that they do a robbery and then escape by train. We have the group of people in black suits who intend to take the whole train hostage, and we have the group of people in white suits who intend to have a real big party. We have delinquents who I actually don't know what they intend to do. And last but not least, we have the mythical rail tracer who will make everyone and the whole train itself vanish. What happens on this train and among these people is the main need of the show, at least in my eye. There are some additional timelines, such as the events that occurred 200 years ago on a ship bound for America, what happened 1 year ago, which led to some of the characters meeting each other, and of course, what happens after the events of the train. I can't really go into more details without starting to spoil story events, which would be a major shame because the mystery and the revelations are what make the show especially enjoyable. The mystery of what happens and why gets told to us in 13 episodes and gets resolved as well. There is only one season, which I always thought was a shame. The whole show is a web of interconnected characters and the events they experience. So, as you can maybe imagine, the characters are pivotal in the show. And there's quite a few of them, so let's take a look at just some. The most easily recognizable are probably Isaac and Miria, because they behave eccentrically and usually dress the same way. They are, for a lack of better words, robbers. Only that their idea of robbing is a bit twisted. One time they wanted to steal an entire museum, but realized that they couldn't carry it all. So they just stole access to the museum, which to them means stealing the front door. And they promptly did exactly that. Otherwise, their quote unquote crimes aren't really heinous. They stole clocks and chocolates and generally don't cause any harm. They are the type of personality that just gets along with others, since they are never malicious. They want to have a good time, and they want to have others a good time as well. So they just get along with others easily. That can be seen from how well they get along instantly with Jacuzzi's plot. Gang leader of the delinquents. He is, how to say that, not as fearsome as you would expect a gang leader to be, since he is rather meek and cries a lot. But when it's time to walk the walk, he does it, and he gets it done. He stands up for his friends, even when he's scared and his legs almost give out. The most recognizable thing about him is the tattoo on his face. He travels around with the hulking giant Donnie and the siblings Nick and Niece. And when things with people in black suits and people in white suits get serious, he takes charge. Which leads us to the people in the suit. What do they want? Well, well, the people in the black suits want to take everyone on the train hostage to negotiate with a politician to get something they want. To get that, they are willing to reduce the population of the train by half to show that they are serious. The people in the white suits, on the other hand, just want to have fun and party. And their kind of party is very bloody. And then there is Lat Russo, a higher up and member of the New York Mafia Russo family, and he just likes killing people. It's his favorite thing in the world. That's why he led the white suited people to the train after all. But all of that is overshadowed by the mysterious rail tracer, a mythical creature said to follow trains and vanish them. And now this monster seems to have placed its eyes on the very flying pussyfoot all these characters are on. Baccano came out in 2007, so the show has a very different visual style than modern anime have. But personally, it might just be the aesthetic of the 20s and 30s. But in my eyes, they really hit the mafia 1930s feel. And that rounds out the show perfectly. And voicing wise, they've done a really good job, as seen from the insane joy that Lad feels.
Thank you! Fuck you! くせ者参上あれあれあれ見張り誰もいねえじゃんつまんねえのそれにしても無事でよかったなルー助かったぜ
The scared crying of Jacuzzi.
だからニックをなんとか助けて
発砲してる？
なんなの今の銃声は何を撃ったの誰か死んだのねえニーズドニー言えなきゃ
To the eccentric behavior of Isaac and Miria.
か
87回くらい？
それ見ろまだ100回以下じゃねえか
本当ですかーい
そうさこのニューヨークで最後の大仕事をしてあとはマイアミあたりでのんびり暮らすんだそうなりゃもう俺たちに危険なんて言葉は無縁だぜ
They got the right people for the right characters. And music-wise, they usually pick the right songs as well. They used a 1930s jazzy style, which fits what I would expect in a show like that. The intro has a high energy feel to it, with a fast and jazz tune, showing us the various important characters as well as introducing them to us. The intro doesn't spoil anything except the characters that will appear, and you can more or less watch it without any issues from the get-go. Later episodes recap the previous one, but if you binge it all, you won't really need that. The outro on the other hand has just kind of doesn't fit if you ask me. It has more a heavy and lower energy feel to it, which is fine, but it doesn't fit. I don't like the outro, and to be fair, you can skip it without missing anything. Baccano got a rating of 8.35 by almost 400,000 viewers, and while ratings of the masses usually aren't that super reliable from my experience, most things that get an 8 usually are worth watching. But of course, tastes are subjective, and that can be seen in the reviews as well. Baccano has 383 reviews, with 336 of them being positive, 23 being mixed feelings, and the remaining 24 being not recommended. The studio behind this show is Brain Space, that made a surprising amount of stuff I actually watched as well. The first thing I've seen from them is probably Spice and Wolf, when I was definitely too young to appreciate it. After that came Durarara, of which I liked the first season a lot, but kind of felt that the second season had no point to it. And the final one I definitely watched was Ixion Saga DT, which was pretty crazy all in all. But from what I've seen, the studio definitely is no cheap one, and they put effort into everything they make. So, who is this for? Well, if you enjoy mafia shows, mysteries, a bit more convoluted stories, or just enjoyable tales, you are probably the intended audience. Just keep in mind, the show doesn't really hold back on blood, so be prepared for that. I watched this one before once, and it must have been a solid 7 or 8 years ago. I had already enjoyed it back then, and would I revisit a show that I know I didn't like? Of course not. So, should you watch Baccano? Yes, you should. I will however say that this show is a lot more enjoyable if you watch it for the first time without knowing anything about it. So I tried to tell you as little as possible, but even that might have been a bit too much already. From my experience, this just isn't a show that's too good on the second watch. So, does it land a spot in my top 9? We haven't had that many videos yet, but I already find it hard to change the rankings, because I like all the shows currently in it. So, I will rank it right behind Skeleton Knight in Another World. I'll be honest, this time I don't have any recommendations. I'll be honest, this time I don't have any recommendations. The show is just, well, different from other ones, so yeah, sorry. Man, I feel like I made an entire video without saying anything, and that feels weird. But if you'd come this far, throw a train emoji down in the comments and tell me if you knew Baccano. I'll see you in the next one.